Let's go Buffs.
We are now. Make sure we live. We are live. We are live. We are live. We are live. The fuck? Get it together. You're either live or you're not. Come and get me. Hmm? Come and get me. Hmm? On a different type of time frame. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in, bitch. Let's take this out because this shit blowing my shit for right now. When you come on in, if you from the league, if you play in the homecoming league, man, type your team's name in the comment section and show us that you are a part of this show watching and shit. You know what I'm talking about? I'm gonna just get to the get tos. But we are in season 5, week 13, 2028. 2028, man. 4 years later from the final season of Shador Sanders, Travis Hunter. Yeah, I'm a Colorado Buffalo, so therefore my team is Colorado Buffaloes. And we got big time stories to talk about. So much stuff I can talk about today in this episode. But we call it the Pitbull and Shih Tzus. Pitbulls and Shih Tzus is the title of the episode today. Because we got a lot to talk about, man. As you can see, we are after week 10. We have a lot on the docket right now. Just off of college football, game day. Let's go. This is DNA Game Day live. And what we're doing is, the regulars, right? You got the college football bracket. We want to see how these voters are doing in the playoff bracket voting right now and who they deem is playoff worthy as of right now. Bowl projections, award watch list, Heisman watch, players of the week, conference standings, college football top 25. And we start our conversation off right there in the top 25. Let's take a look at what's going on. Syracuse is now the number 1 team in the nation. Clemson dropping from 1 to 3 because they were idle. They ain't play a game, but the voters said, you know what, since you didn't play a game and UCLA and USC played, and that was a big time game. That was a top 10 game at the time. 10 versus like 6 or 7 or some shit like that. We'll talk about it. Actually, it's 10 versus 3. And Syracuse played a game and you didn't, and they beat the brakes off of Virginia, 77-21. Virginia, that moves them up to the number 1 spot. And let me ask y'all a question, man. Those that are in the league, did the SEC fall off of being the best division in football, best conference in football? That's the first question I got. But then you ask yourself, did they? Because just look at the team logos and team names that's in the top 13 that you can see. Is it dominated by the ACC? Is it dominated by the Big Ten? Or is it dominated by the SEC? Because I will tell you this, the Big 12 has been the step brother of the little brother that's going to go to the ball to meet the princess. We've been the step brothers for some reason, they don't respect us no matter how tough our schedules are and all that. They do not respect the Big 12 and college football right now. And you know all the lights is over there. You know what it is Deion Sanders has been a guy that won a lot of games and brought Colorado out of the dark era, the dark ages that they were in. But going into season 5, he has yet to win a conference championship or even get to a championship, national championship. And that might be the problem, right? Although all the eyes are still on Colorado, and Florida has decided they wasn't going to be in the SEC anymore. And they're in the Big 12, and yet we still don't have the power to be able to lose one game and still be a top 5 team, which is crazy. Arizona can, though. Arizona has beaten Colorado in that 5-6 game, and they still remain at 5 no matter what they do. And they just took out Cincinnati 51-42. I think Arizona earned their way into the conversation of a program. Not just a college. They are a program, right? 3 conference titles. They've been in the playoffs 4 out of the 5 seasons, 3 out of the 5 seasons, looking to make it 4. And looking to win their 4th title in the conference. They dominate in the Big 12 conference right now. So in my opinion, I like where they are right now. I think they can lose another game and still should be safe. Right? They're building. They become a 4-star program. They're starting to build. They're getting the recruits in now. They have a good coaching staff that have been developing the shit out of their players. They have a strong weight room program and all that, right? Not stronger than Alabama's weight room program or Ohio State's weight room program. Not stronger than theirs at all. Alabama and Ohio State got the best strength and conditioning coaches in the world. If you coming out of high school and you want to put on weight, you want to get physical, you want to be a presence early, we're not talking about late, 3 years in the program, no, we're talking about from freshman year to sophomore year or freshman year to redshirt freshman year. If you want to develop, you go to Alabama or Ohio State. Syracuse sent the receiver to the NFL. We used to call him PHI, Philly, PHIZ. They brought in a kid from Camden, New Jersey, Rashad Baker. As a freshman, this kid is not only winning games for Syracuse, he's the only one that's putting a dent in what Alabama is doing this season. Right now, we're going to talk about that as we go. But USC winning a big-time game. I mean, they got a donut, 23 Nathaniel to UCLA. UCLA is by far has the best offensive line in the country. But UCLA lost the game to USC. And I just think this. If you think about UCLA losing that rival game, no one wants to lose a rival game. But in a sense, because they beat Oregon a little earlier on in the season, I just think they felt like they could come into this game and play bland. And whatever happens, happens. We win this bitch, we do. We don't, we do got to see this team again in the conference championship. And we don't want to expose everything we know how to do to be able to beat this team. So let's just, try to win it how we can. And if we can't, then don't. But I don't think they was expecting to lose that thing 23 to Nathan. They didn't expect that at all. The problem with that is you will be playing in the conference championship game, but the person that plays in that conference championship game and doesn't win it loses their ability to play in the playoffs. It's nothing else to talk about when you talk about the Clemson Tigers. Coach Hoodie has this programming. Simple as that, right? They bring in the best 5-stars, elite players all over the country. If you are one of the best players in the nation coming out of high school, your first destination is Clemson. Clemson is building a roster. Now what they're looking to do is to watch that roster grow up, because they came in when Coach Hoodie took over for Dabo Swinney. He was running off of Dabo Swinney's roster, and they won a title off of that Dabo Swinney's roster. I think now Hoodie has his own players in there, and he's done a better job than Dabo in recruiting. And when I tell you he's been a top recruiter for the last 3 seasons, it's Simply this: they just want to better win a championship with their guys, and right now they feel like they're on pace to do exactly that. But Clemson was idle last week. That's the only reason why they go from 1-3. And they're going to play South Carolina in their rival game, and as well as USC with Notre Dame in their rival game, and then Syracuse playing Pitt in their rival game, because it's rivalry weekend, fellas. It's rivalry weekend. Rivalry weekend. Not yet, though, because North Carolina still has to play North Carolina, and that's rivalry weekend. So they took care of Pitt, beat them 45-15, and now they're on their way to Chapel Hill to take on North Carolina, and they're sitting at number 4 at 10-1. Their only loss coming early in the season, I think, to Tennessee. All right. At 4, you got North Kakalaki sitting here again. They go to North Kakalaki to play. You got NC State going up against North Kakalaki in Chapel Hill, where Chapel Hill said we're not just a basketball program, we're a football program as well. All right, Arizona, they'll be taking on their rivals, Arizona State, and at the end of the day, they win, they end. Simple as that, right? That's all it comes down to. I do not think Arizona State can lose, even if they lose the conference championship game. I don't think it would drop them out of the top 12 to be able, well, top 11, because it's going to be a group of 5 school that's going to have a spot in the playoffs. But I don't think Arizona losing. They lose to Arizona State and then don't win the title, don't win the championship game in the conference, then they're out. But I don't see it happening, though. They're sitting at 10-1. Their only loss is to the number 1 team in the nation, and that's Syracuse. And that was so early on in the season. That loss don't count and matter at all right now. But they are taking care, going to their rivals at Arizona State to take on the Sun Devils. Oregon will work their way back up with 2 losses right now, and in the strength of schedule, Oregon has worked their way back up to number 6 right now. And some of you might say, damn, I have a 9-2 team sitting in front of some 1-loss teams and even some 1-loss SEC teams. Scheduling is everything. But if I'm Oregon, I'm super ecstatic on where we at right now. Right? Go take care of Penn State. Don't go out there and spit a dud and lose that game against Penn State. And it looks like you got Penn State and Eugene, so you don't have to worry about that massive crowd and that whiteout game. They got to come to you and deal with y'all in Eugene and near the Nike headquarters, right? So go win that game and then wait for USC and UCLA to beat up on each other again, and everything is everything. How about Alabama right now? They take care 56-14 over the University of Georgia, dropping them to 22. And they're on their way to Texas. They're on their way to the motherfucker Hook'em Horn State to take on the number 8 team in the nation right now. And that's a huge game right now because 7 versus 8. They're both in a situation where 7 versus 8 can knock you out of, just not out of the playoffs, it can knock you out of the conference championship game, which will be a bad thing, and can knock you out of the playoffs. So this game is super important this week. These 2 coaches know each other since the new Texas coach came in, part of the 504 boys, 501 boys, whatever their area code is. They part of that, so they know each other. So this should be an interesting game. Alabama has been really good this year. Had 1 loss on the year, but they've been really good this year. I think their only loss was to Tennessee. But they've been really good. They've been, champions. They are 2-time champions right now, looking to try to get a 3rd. And they are still doing what they're doing, and they're doing it with a really good group of people. Like offensively, I think you call them the triplet offense, right? But on defense, they brought in Colin Simmons, the Texas transfer, right? One of the best edge rushers in the world. Let's just call it what it is. When they come out of college football, transfer to them, and he is dominating. Him and the linebacker Carlos Mena. They got some guys over there, right? So they got some studs on defense, and then their quarterback, Doug Jones, has been one of the best dual threat quarterbacks, RPO quarterbacks in the league. And Texas has a young freshman receiver that's balling right out of control right now. So they got some weapons, both of them still who they are as programs, and that game is going to be super important. Alabama at number 8, number 7 Alabama at number 8 Texas. But number 8 is the Texas University, and they are taking on Alabama at home. They just came out of an 82-44 game over the Texas A&M Aggies, beating the 12th man really bad at the 12th man stadium. Now, your sleeper team that's been coming up and coming right now is Arkansas. A lot of people want to know how good really is Arkansas right now. They are the number 9 team in the nation with 1 loss. They have a shot to play in the conference championship game because of the Texas and Alabama matchup. They just took on Texas State. Definitely destroyed them 63-35, and they're at Missouri for their last game of the year rival game right now. Can they take care of Missouri on the road? And if they could do such a thing, then they're in the building. Tennessee is coming off a controversial game last week, which put them in a situation where they're on probation right now, so they'll be taking a loss against Vanderbilt. They won't even better play that game, and that's going to drop them out of the conversation for sure. Sucks, right? Because we want to see Tennessee do what they do. They are a team that also won a title, and we want to see those guys really better do what they do. But at the end of the day, rules are rules, and Tennessee will be taking a loss against Vanderbilt, which will probably knock them out of the race, and we'll show that when we get to the conference standings. And then Colorado, now they're going to take on number 19 Baylor. Now Colorado had one of the tougher schedules early on, but those teams didn't finish ranked, a lot of them, right? Playing a highly ranked Florida team who's now, they're in the top 25, but they're not where they were. Baylor's 19, that's going to help Colorado because if Colorado can't get to at least 7 or 6, they can't lose another game to be able to make the playoffs. And Juju Lewis is in his senior year, and one of the big things was Colorado and Coach Prime, Juju Lewis, getting them to another playoff because they were a game away from playing in the national title game just last season. Erica said, "Yo, Rand, you around?"
Yeah, I'm around.
Erica said, "Tell Randy we need tickets. The Super Bowl is in New Orleans." Eagles,
Y'all
bitch.
coming? Y'all
I mean, she
coming?
want to. I know she want to. I'm gonna try to make it work. See what happens. Probably not gonna better do it, but we'll see.
Yeah, anything's possible.
Long as motherfucker they got control of terrorists and shit running niggas down, we cool. But you're looking at number 12 going to number 11, right? UCLA had jumped Colorado at 10, but they lost that USC game, which was huge. It pitched Colorado back at 11. That gives them a playoff berth as of right now, but they have to beat number 19 Baylor, and they're going to have to get to that conference championship and win that one, right? This is very important. This is a very important season for Juju Lewis. There's a couple of guys on that football team that's been there since day one or came in the first recruiting class, 2025, and is part of the reason why Colorado has turned their program around into a force, right? But they got to take that next step. There's a lot to talk about. Come on, Erica, leave me the fuck alone. Like, I'm in the middle of a show. Nobody don't care about, like, you want me to be excited for a team I don't give a fuck about. Like, I don't care about them. Great. Y'all won. Super Bowl. Good shit. I already said something.
Duck, 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 duck.
Them Ducks, boy. And then there's lonely Michigan. Now, we played Michigan week 1. They were number 4 in the country at the time. They fall to 9-2, but they got Ohio State in the big time rivalry game. I think Michigan is putting themselves in a situation. They went from having a user to not having a user, and they're still doing some big time winning right now. So them sitting at 13 is absolutely a problem right now. Now, the good thing is that they're at 13. It helps Colorado and their strength of schedule at the same time. So let's see how that goes. But how about Florida State? You got young Peter Work over there. You got young Charlie Ward over there. And they going to take on Florida now. They're not looking at the SEC Florida anymore. They're playing Big 12 Florida. Florida has been dominating competition over the last couple of weeks right now. And they're going to have to deal with their rival game, right? Now, they already took care of Georgia. Not took care of them, but they had that rival game where they still haven't got over that hump. Florida is like Colorado. Colorado haven't got over the Arizona hump yet, right? If you think about regular season and then playing again in championships, Arizona is really dominating. The same thing with Georgia. Now, Georgia hasn't played in the championship or anything like that, but in the rival between Florida and Georgia, it's been a problem because Florida has not gotten over that hump. I think last game was probably more disappointing of a loss than it was not, because they really had a chance to win that game and should have won it. But the things that happen early in a football game can come back to haunt you late when the clock is going against you. But Florida State, man, sitting here 58-17 over Boston College, and they take on Florida. This is a matchup I can't wait to see. Because I think it's taking us back to the 1995 Steve Spurrier and Bobby Bowden days. I think this is going to be a really big time football game, and it's going to matter because both of them got eight wins and 3 losses, and they're trying to get to 9 wins on the season. So this is going to be huge in this matchup right here, and it's also going to determine some things, right? Because Florida State sitting at 13 with the strength of the ACC right now, that can absolutely put them in the playoff with a win, right? Flat out can put them in there depending on what happens in front of them. At the same time, Florida beating Florida State helps the Big 12 on their strength of schedule as well. So as we can see some things come down the line, you're looking at Charlotte at 14 at 9-2. They, as of right now, they got the Group of 5 playoff berth right now with Louisiana Tech. Like, hold up, not so fast, my friend. How about LSU, man? LSU had a disappointing loss against Alabama, 120 plus to something, and they fought their way back to an 8-3 record right now, and they're the number 16th team ranked. Look, they jumped from 21 to 16 after beating Kentucky, who was highly ranked as well. Kentucky's been playing really good football all year as well. Again, Florida, the Gators are sitting at 17 right now, 8-3, 63-13 over Kansas State, and they're going to be at number 13 Florida at the motherfucking UCLA fall from 11 to 18. They take on at Illinois. They're going to rebound from that and then got to go play in the conference championship and see what happens. Baylor goes from 25 to 19, 8-3 over West Virginia. Onk and his Baylor team, they're going to play 11 Colorado and Colorado has to go to Baylor for this football game. Rutgers gets the 28-17 equal sim win over Penn State. They're at Purdue. They are ranked number 20 in the nation right now at 8-3 as well. Boise State, another Group of 5 school, sitting at 9-2. They're at Hawaii. Georgia goes from 14 to 22 after losing 56-14 to the number 7 ranked Alabama, but they play that rival game, Georgia Tech. That should help them going forward. Indiana comes into the top 25 at 23. Stanford comes into the top 25 at 24. And Virginia Tech hops their ass up into the top 25. All that does is strengthen the ACC as the best conference in football right now. They're at Virginia in their rival game. That's your top 25. Let's get to the conference, what it looks like right now. She says she dead ass serious. She's trying to get to that game. All right. With a Clemson win and a Syracuse win to close the season out, that would be your ACC matchup. And both of those teams are undefeated. I don't think a loss in a championship game will hurt either one of these teams as far as their playoff berth. With the North Carolina State team sitting right behind them with 6-1, 10-1 on the season, 6-1 at conference play. Florida State with 2 losses, Stanford with 2 losses, Georgia Tech with 3, and then Louisville, Notre Dame, and Miami all got 3 conference losses right now. So it looks like Charlotte is undefeated in conference play. If everything goes the way it goes, they probably will be playing Memphis for the American Championship. I said Conference USA. Tulsa has a shot as well, so we're going to see how that plays itself out. Big 12, though, it looks like Arizona and Colorado will play depending on what happens in that Colorado. And I think Arizona can lose and still be good. But Colorado got to beat Baylor to be able to go to the conference championship game in Texas, Arlington, Texas, to be able to play Arizona for the 2nd straight year. Now, the Big Ten, this is what I was talking about earlier. 9-0 USC, and 7-1 UCLA. Now, UCLA is in front of Oregon because of the head-to-head matchup win that UCLA had earlier on in the season. But if there's a team There are two teams in this situation right now, Oregon and Michigan. Don't let Michigan beat Ohio State. Ohio State got to go in and beat Michigan in this rival game because it'll pit a situation, right? Because Michigan is number 12 in the country right now. Now, Ohio State is not ranked right now, but we need Ohio State to beat Michigan to give us a clean sweep here. And what I mean is right now it's Oregon and Michigan just sitting. They're glad they're not having to play in the conference championship game because the loser of this conference championship game is in a situation now. Not as much as you think it is. I think at number 2, if USC loses this conference championship game with 2 losses, how far would they drop? Losing to UCLA, right? But if UCLA loses this game, it's a wrap, done deal for them. They're not going to be able to play in the playoffs, which will give Oregon their clear path to it as of right now. Oregon, when they in, I don't see nothing that can happen that'll drop them from out of playing in the playoffs at all, right? But then there's Michigan sitting at 12 right now, and that's the problem, right? They're sitting at 12 with a win. All they got to do is need some things to happen for them to also get into the playoffs. So it's very interesting for this Big Ten coming down the stretch. Conference USA, Liberty 7-4. We can care less about any of those teams. They will not be in competition for anything outside of just winning a MAC championship and a Conference USA championship. Fresno State is 9-2. They're in the same boat too as well. So I think it comes down to the group of 5 being Charlotte. Charlotte when they in. When it comes down to SEC, it's the same thing over here, right? You got about 4 teams that's in the race right now. Now, Alabama's 3rd, Texas is 1. Tennessee will be taking a loss. That knocks them out of the conference championship game. Alabama and Texas will be playing each other, and if Alabama beats Texas, then it's going to be a 3-way tie between Arkansas, Alabama, and Texas for the conference to better play in the championship game. So I think we'll have to pay attention to this game, right? Texas, Alabama, and see what happens there. If Texas wins the game, Alabama is not going to the conference championship. And if Texas wins this game, does Alabama fall out of the playoffs? It's crazy because I do think this game is more important to Alabama than it is to Texas right now. Texas is 9-2. Now, as far as the playoffs go, having a 9-2 record and losing to Alabama kicks them completely out of the playoff fight conversation completely, depending on what happens behind them. But they lose, they're out of the playoffs. They win, they in, they in the playoffs, they stay, having a bye week and all that. But if they lose, they're out of the playoffs. Alabama at 10-1, I think they can at number 7 right now. That's a tricky situation. They lose, they have 2 losses on the season, right? They go 10-2 and 2 losses in conference play. They're not playing in a conference championship game, and at 7, they fall at 4 or 5 spots. They're out of the playoffs as well. So the best team in this greatest situation is Arkansas playing Missouri Computer and winning that game. They win, they're going to be in no matter what. So Arkansas will be either playing Texas or Alabama. Conference championship games. So this week is very important. Very important. All right, let's get to the college football bracket and let's see how these voters see things right now. All right, let's look at 12 verse 5. So Charlotte win there, and
Check your DM.
Charlotte will be playing Syracuse right now. The number 1 ranked team is sitting at 5, and that makes sense right now, right? But Clemson has done nothing to lose their spot as the bye week right now. They're actually the first team in the conference ACC right now, right? So again, those 2 teams are going to match up. We understand that Clemson and Syracuse will be playing each other in the conference championship, bar no losses to week 13. But right now, Syracuse is in a sweet spot, right? Whoever gets that 5 seed is always in the sweet spot. Look like they'll be facing Charlotte unless they win the conference championship. Then they'll be where Clemson at number 2. I'm assuming they might even go to number 1 because they are the number 1 team in the top 25 right now. But USC is holding down the number 1 spot in the playoffs right now. I think if Syracuse beats Clemson, Syracuse goes to number 1. USC goes to number 2 if they win out. So things are going to switch right there, right? Then you have Arkansas, Alabama. Alabama loses. There's going to be a conversation going. Alabama wins. Then that means they're going to replace Texas for the number 4 seed. And things can get interesting right there because then what happens with Texas? So Arkansas will be sitting at 9. Again, they beat Missouri. They can play for the championship game and then have themselves a bye week if they win the conference championship. So they win the SEC, they are going to be playing in the Cotton Bowl for sure. All right, so Alabama, the pressure's on them and Texas right now, right? Texas is thinly holding on to that 4th spot, and Alabama is thinly holding on to that 8th spot. Then there's Colorado. Same thing with Colorado and North Carolina. Now, North Carolina won't be playing in the ACC championship game, so they're in the sweet spot. They went out. They stay right where they at right now and possibly can move up a couple of joints, but they're fine. They can never get to the quarterfinal and wait for an opponent they're going to have to play in the first round, but they're going to have a home game, and they're going to be completely in the playoffs no matter what. Beat North Carolina, you're in the playoffs for the 4th straight year. However, Colorado with 1 loss right now, sitting at 11, they got to beat Baylor, and then they have to go to Dallas to be able to beat Arizona in the Cotton Bowl for the conference Big 12 championship game. And if they win that game, then they'll be in the All-State Sugar Bowl waiting for their opponent as the 3 seed. Or as the 4 seed in one of these other bowl games, but they will be able to sit in the quarterfinals and wait for an opponent if they can win the conference championship game. Beat Baylor, beat Arizona, and you are sitting where Arizona's at right now. Lose to Baylor or lose to Arizona, and Colorado chances of making the playoffs Juju Lewis's senior year is very, very slim. And then Oregon's in the same boat as North Carolina State. They sit there. All they got to do is wait for shit to happen in front of them. Beat Penn State and wait for shit to happen in front of them. Tennessee will have to fight their way back into the playoff race because they're going to take a loss to Vanderbilt, and they just need some things to happen in front of them for them to be able to, stand strong right now. Because they already got 2 losses. It's going to give them their 3rd. They're pretty much out of the fight unless a lot of those 1 and 2 loss teams lose. If a lot of those 1 and 2 loss teams lose, then Tennessee is completely out of it. But them having to take that loss because of a rules violation is going to knock them out of the playoffs, and they won't have a chance to go after a title this year. Corey's a competitor, but I do think he's one of our guys that have integrity, so I don't think this would be something that'll make him say, fuck that, I quit, and do some bitch shit. Because there's a lot of y'all in this league that do shit, break rules, all that shit, and but it only matters when somebody do something to you, or when you break the rule, y'all all on the ass. Some of y'all niggas was chasing Corey down, and y'all broke rules and got away with it on the low. I'm saying that out loud. Fuck that. Niggas missed it, or it was early enough where if it was week 8 you did it, and week 9 was when we implemented it. You got away with this shit, but y'all niggas be funny. Some of y'all break rules, then they get broken on y'all quitting games, fucking mad, and be acting like niggas don't do the same shit. We all do it. We all have done something. So let's get it out the way, and let's see what's going to happen going down the stretch. Again, I bring that up because I don't think Corey has that type of shakiness in his bones to be like, oh, I got to take a loss, I'll quit. He ain't going to do all that. He just going to take the loss, and I'll see y'all next year. But that's how the voters got these playoffs right now. It's really tricky because none of this shit is going to remain the same. None of it. We'll be coming back next week having a whole different conversation. Then we'll be coming back after week 14, Army-Navy week, and having another different conversation about who's in the playoffs. All right. Let's get to the get to. Usually, if you win Player of the Year, you're going to win the Heisman. It goes hand in hand in college football 25. 9 out of 10, if you win the Player of the Year, that means you about to win yourself a Heisman. Colin Simmons is about to be the first defensive player to win the Heisman since, damn, his name on the tip of my tongue, no Diddy. the edge rusher from Tennessee in year one. God damn it, I can't remember his name. If you remember his name, type it in the chat for me. But Colin Simmons goes from Texas to Alabama, and he said, "I'm coming to Alabama to win a title. I'm coming to Alabama because I feel like Alabama pits guys in the NFL more than any other team in the country, and because of that, I'm coming there to be able to enhance my game. I know Nick Saban is not in the building anymore, but there's still a lot of coaches off his tree that still have something to do with the program, and I just think I'll be in a better situation as an edge rusher to be able to." Go to Alabama and dominate, and he's doing exactly that right now. This kid is a monster. He's going crazy, and he's going to be the first guy to win a
Meta,
Heisman since
meta,
the
meta,
guy from
meta, 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 meta. Yo,
since the guy from motherfucker since the guy from motherfucker. I can't remember that. Who's the
yo,
defensive end for Tennessee, bro? That went to that won
I
the
just got
Heisman year
off
one.
Meta. What happened?
The guy that won a Heisman in year one in our league.
His name was Meta too. Meta World Peace.
Oh my God! They also got a 6'2", 220-pound elusive back, Devin Meredith. Man, this he's a 5-star. He's an elite player. He's taken over. He came into a crowded running back room when he was recruited by Alabama, but that strength and conditioning program put some size on that kid, put some motherfucking weight on that kid, and they took him through speed and explosion, and he just became a monster. Listen, this is a first round talent at the running back position from the University of Alabama. We know they produce running backs, and I just think he's along a long line of running backs that come out of Alabama. Derrick Henry. We got some big time backs that come out of there that got size and speed to be able to do some things right now. This kid's a redshirt junior, but his draft grade, I don't see him staying another year in college football, especially if he has an opportunity to win the Heisman. And then you're looking at the third. I only do the top 5 until it's time to talk about who actually wins the award. Number 3 from out of Canton, New Jersey, Rashad Baker. Listen, I think the highlight of his season, if he does win Player of the Year or if he does win the Heisman Award, I think we're going to. Everybody has a Heisman moment, right? And when you think about who wins the Heisman, when it comes down to showing the highlights and they walk across the stage and you start showing the things they did that year, there's a game or there's a play that was made, and that game is either going to stand out or that play is going to stand out. When it comes down to Rashad Baker, the true freshman from Camden, New Jersey, when it comes out, what he did was, I think you got to go all the way back to week 1 against Arizona on the road, or was it home? He might have been home in that game. I think that's a one-off. They played at Arizona one year and then at Syracuse the next year. But with 12 seconds left in the game, he catches a pass on the sideline. That was one of the best passes I've seen caught because the throw was amazing because he threw it inside, but he still caught it. He did a little turnaround, got another 6-7 yards to get him in field goal range and got out of bounds before that clock hit 0. And to me, that might be the play. If Rashad Baker wins the Heisman, that'll be the play that we'll go back to and talk about why. That's one of the reasons why he won the Heisman. Look, Travis Hunter, the fumble in the Baylor game on a goal line in overtime is his Heisman moment, right? Or you're going to either talk about the Oklahoma State game, or you're going to go all the way back to the UCF game, week 4, when he first struck the Heisman polls, where he had that diving interception where he was in cover 2 and cover 3 routes before he picked that shit off. Like, so everybody got moments. Now, I don't follow Colin Simmons enough and seen any of his games to really know what his Heisman moment is, but if he had the chance to speak, he would better tell us exactly the game that got him in the race right now. Then at 4, you're looking at Peter Kingsbury, who's actually stepped his game up. Like, he's been a great quarterback since he's taken over from Kyle McCord, but
They
he
got
just put his
robbed.
name in the Heisman race over the last
They got
couple of
robbed.
weeks. So
North
they got,
Carolina robbed us.
but Peter Kingsbury, man, he's been, and the funny thing is every coordinator comes in and want to bring their guy in. This guy was already a part of Syracuse's roster. As a freshman, he got redshirted, so that still gave Coach Falk 4 years with the guy, and he trained him into a monster because not only is he throwing the football to a good Rashad Baker, he's also
Meta chipper right now. You get on Meta earlier, bro. That shit
Nah,
chipping.
man.
Eagles won. Meta chipping right now.
The Eagles show that they can run the motherfucking football right to a Super Bowl. That shit crazy what they just did. I don't want to talk about it because I know Hitter over there is sick right now. I know he ain't getting on.
Hit him, man. Praying for you, bro.
If I'm Hitter, I'm not mad about shit.
Oh,
We did
nah,
some things to
them
show.
fumbles, man. Them
Yeah,
fumbles fucked that shit up. If they ain't fumble like that, it would have been a game. No, that
yeah,
fumble gave all momentum.
yeah,
They don't got
turnovers.
no reason to put their head down. They ain't had them 3 fumbles, bro. And I know if it was the fifth, we all be drunk, but them fumbles, like, fucked them up. It was just bad time.
Right. So you got Peter Kingsbury, who now you'll see when I talk about the Heisman race, he just joined that Heisman conversation. This is a pure. When I say a pure quarterback, he has the speed to be a dual threat guy, but like you know, how you get the guys that can run if they have to, but they rather sit back there and pick your fucking coverage apart. That's Peter Kingsbury. He's a guy that has when it's time for GMs to get him on a chalkboard, they're going to be impressed by him, and I think that will move him up that board. Like where it's going to be a conversation this draft coming up, right? Who's the number one quarterback in this year's draft? It's a lot of good quarterbacks. Kingsbury will be one of those guys in that conversation. And what's going to happen is when they start to realize, how intelligent he is when it comes down to reading plays and understanding what the defense is trying to do to him, I think that's going to put him in a situation where he could absolutely be the number one overall quarterback taken in this year's draft. And it's a lot of guys coming out that have the potential. And there's some guys coming out that's going to have the overalls to go first round, but they're not really talented enough to go first round and play NFL football. But it's some guys that's going to come out that's going to have both. And it might even be a guy or two that might be an 88, 89 overall that probably can arguably have a good pro day or a good combine and be in that same conversation. Then you're looking at middle linebacker Carlos Manuel, right? This is one of my question with Carlos Manuel. Listen, he's on this list because when you go to
Meta,
stats.
meta, 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 meta. What's wrong? What's up, bro?
Oh my God. But the tackle for losses, right? For a middle linebacker to have that many tackle for losses, I mean, you can't block him, right? And if I'm an NFL scout, I'm saying if this kid can't be blocked, this is my Ray Lewis, right? And they even got a baby Ray Lewis on his way up and coming. I think he's being redshirted for Alabama right now. 6'4" monster. Trying to tell y'all, and all he's doing is going through that program, strength and conditioning. I told you they got the best strength and conditioning coach in the world. He's going through that. And when he's done going through that, he's going to replace this monster they got right here in Carlos Manuel. Listen, not only does he sack
Who
in the
got the best
quarterback,
strength program?
Alabama.
Oh, all their DB 6'2" and above, right? That program, they
Yeah,
recruit like that.
yeah, it's Alabama.
Yeah, they recruit like that. Everybody, everybody built, everybody muscles. You know what I mean? Thighs is, you know what I mean?
That's what a strength and
Thighs,
conditioner is
core,
there for, to
yeah.
get your ass, get you
Glute,
physically ready to play
glutes,
some
shoulders.
football.
You know what I'm saying?
They should allow us to fire and hire strength and condition coaches.
Their glutes is firm. Pause. Shoulders. You know what I mean? Niggas be doing all curls.
When
Four
we
hundred
get
pound old lineman.
when we get to the stat
Shredded.
game, we're gonna find out why these five guys are in the mix. And not only are they the player of the year in the mix, but you're gonna find out why they're on the Heisman ballot as well. So that's your top five there, player of the year. Let's
Meta,
go to head coaches
meta,
right now.
meta, meta, meta.
Coach Hoodie Wades from Clemson is sitting at number one in this race. Coach Brown for Syracuse is at number two. Now, their offensive coordinator is getting a lot of buzz. We'll show that when we go to the Broyles Award and all that. But I got him on headset right now. He's conversating with us right now. Is this a year where one thing or two things happen? Fran Brown leaves for a better job, and you take over the Syracuse program, or you leave for a head coaching job?
I can see one of the two is happening. One of the two happening. You know, uh, this is one of those things where you come from a program and you build it up. Eventually, the big schools with the resources gonna come pluck you. While both love, while I love Syracuse and Coach Brown loves Syracuse, if somebody throwing the bag, I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna listen. So we'll see.
There's another coach that's sitting at 3 right now, and Tone Todd, in my opinion, is one of the hot coaches around the league right now too, to up his ante too. I think what he's done at Arizona. Imagine giving him a blue blood program. What could he do with that? And that's the question, right? Or is he a guy that says, you know what? I think we can get it done from right where we at. And can you turn Arizona into a blue blood, right? 3 conference championships, playoff team, right? I think the only thing they need to do is get into the round before getting to the championship game, right? They got to better get to round 3. If they can get to round 3 and play to go to the championship game, I think Tone Todd, head coach, had a better season. But if they do what they always been doing, which is, have the first place bye, then lose in that round or the second round right then and there, then I think it's time to move on. But I do think this program is
They
in the
got
up and
3
up.
conference championships.
Yeah, man, he's literally dominating the play. Look at it. 1-3 in a bowl record, right? And that's because of the playoff losses. But he's 4-1 in his rivals. 56-10 in his career as a coach. Record versus top 25, he's 12-9.
Are they the best? Have they been the best program in the Big 12?
Yes,
I mean, I
by
know
far, by far,
Colorado's there.
by far. You can't not call them the best program. They got 3 conference championships.
I didn't know they had all that. Shout out to Arizona.
That's what I said. Tone Todd is just as hot of a commodity as Coach Brown and Coach Falk, the offensive coordinator. Hot a commodity. They do a really good job in program development too. Now I think they're getting better resources. Like they just got hit with $15 million for NIL. So and it's showing. If you look at their recruiting, they're in the top 15 in recruiting this year as well. So I think it's the up and up right now. Like I think he can stand still and really take Arizona into into the next couple of years as a blue blood. Like I think getting ready to start calling them a blue blood program. Simple as that. Like Tone Todd is doing an excellent job. I mean, he's dominating the Big 12. See, the problem is Colorado sitting in the Big 12 and losing the championship games is in the way at the end of the day. But Prime is their head coach, and who he is outsources all that shit, right? So they've been a top 10 recruiting team over there every year. But like if the roles were switched, he would be one of the hottest coaches in the league right now as well. But they got to get over some things. He did it at Jackson State, right? Won the SWAC every year, but didn't win the big bowl game. That's what and that's on his back. You get good coaches. And I think Tone Todd, even though they're winning the conference championship games, I think his next step to be able to take that step into that, into the conversation of those guys is to get. I don't think he has to win a championship. I think he needs to get to at least to the game to have a shot to go to the title game or even go to it. If he does one of the two, we start conversating about him a little different. Then you had the new head coach, Dr. Phil for Arkansas. They sitting at number 9 with 1 loss right now. And then you go down to the next user coach, and that's Big Gator. Got his team at number 2, USC, sitting at number 2 with the big win over UCLA. Got them in the mix right now as head coaches of the year. Now, best quarterbacks in the country right now. At number 1, Peter Kingsbury, senior. And this is one of those quarterbacks I'm talking about. Only at 88 overall. So when it comes down to drafting, how the way this game works, when it comes down to his draft grade, he wouldn't be a first round pick, and he should be over because of what he's done over his 4 seasons. But because he's only 88 overall, it's going to hold him back from being the number 1 pick. That's just why I said when he get on the chalkboard and he go through his pro day and the combine and all that, he's going to be one of the biggest draft risers we see. Doug Jones. The question surrounding him is, can he play in a pro-style offense?
I mean, being a 2-time national champion,
I'm telling you
don't give
now.
him.
I'm telling you now, he's going to have a first or a second round grade. But the question is going to be, can he play in a pro-style offense? It's that simple.
I mean, the NFL is moving to
that's the thing with NFL franchise. that's in that type of mold is going to want this guy, right? Because I'm not saying he ain't a guy that can't get drafted by any 32 of the teams that's in the NFL. What I'm saying is the question surrounding him during the draft process will be, can he play in a pro style offense? Because most teams in the NFL that got those dual threat quarterbacks in play right now, they already got them. Is the Ravens getting rid of Lamar Jackson? Is the Commanders getting rid of Jalen Daniels?
What's up?
And I could continue to go when you start thinking about RPO and guys and teams that use their quarterback in the run game, right? And I'm not saying, Doug Jones is a guy that's rushing for 1,000 yards. He can switch a position and be a running back. What I'm saying is he accurate enough, right? And throwing downfield. They're going to want to see him make throws in the pro day. And they're going to want to see him make throws in the combine. Like, he's not a kid that can go to the combine and say, I'm just here for the meetings. I'm not doing no workouts, right? He has to go to the combine and work out. They want to see him throw the ball downfield. They want to see him throw those from one side of the field to the other out on time. And they want to see that type of throws coming out of him, right? You don't see that. In his system, he could throw great crossing routes, and that's part of the NFL for sure. But a lot of his play style and play and high completion percentage comes from the RPO game, right? The jet sweeps, the RPO, read run option, things like that. So I think he gonna have to answer the question of, can he play in a pro style offense? And if he can answer that question during the combine and pro day, I think he'll be one of the quarterbacks rising up the board as the number. Like right now, even winning the Heisman, he ain't the number one quarterback coming out for this draft right now. But I think he can answer those questions because remember, was Michigan's quarterback in your mind ever a fucking first round quarterback?
This is
The one that went to Minnesota, huh?
McCarthy, right?
Yeah.
Nah, I was shocked he went that high.
But he went that high because he was a winner. The one thing you couldn't take away from him is he was a winner. And then winning that title solidified him being a winner, and somebody took a chance on him as being a winner. Simple as that. And I think Doug Jones with one title under his belt, he won a third. I mean, he went Alabama their third, and since 2024, the conversation will rise around him, right? But
Doug Jones got 2 chips, no?
Nah, he got one. He won one with Milroe.
Okay.
His freshman year, they was on probation. They had to sit out all year. They couldn't play a game. But then he came back his sophomore year and dominated and won that his sophomore year. And then last year he played in it but lost to Tennessee in that controversial game. So again, with a 90 overall, and he's one of the best quarterbacks, if not the best quarterback in college football right now, the question around him will be, is he a pro-style NFL quarterback that could come take a franchise and beat them but with his arm? Simple as that.
Right.
And then number 3, you could argue number 3 is the number 1 quarterback in this year's draft. Juju Lewis, right? Decorated. Comes in as a freshman right along with Doug Jones. It's a few quarterbacks on this list that came in as a true freshman and took over the program. And he's a winner, right? But what's going to be the conversation around Juju Lewis? Can he win the big game?
Big game, man.
Can he win the big game? Right? Just last year, they lost to Syracuse to go to the national title game. Just last year, 28-21, lost to Syracuse to go to the title game. He's been in the conference championship game since 2025. We are in 2028, Falk.
Yes.
When you think about the yards, he probably holds more NFL records than any quarterback on this list, probably outside of Kingsbury. When it comes down to career shit, right? And he's a hell of a signal caller. And the one thing we do know is he can make all the throws. He can throw downfield. And he also, one thing that people didn't realize about him is that his running ability was way better it got better as the years went, as him being a quarterback for Colorado, right? Pat Shermer has been able to open up a lot of some dual threat stuff over there in Colorado because of Juju's legs. Although he's one of those quarterbacks that can run, one of the faster quarterbacks in the college football right now, but he doesn't do a lot of running. But when you're thinking about quarterbacks coming out this year, he's in the conversation as the number one pick. If there's a team right now, I think in college and in the NFL right now, we're
Juju
looking
and
at
Slayton came in together as the top QB of that class.
yeah, yep. You're 100% right. You're 100% right. You're 100% right. Juju was a 3-star. Juju was a 3-star, motherfucking, but he was a 3-star that came in with 90 speed, 95 excel, and 95 throw power. Green hours up. Motherfucking Juju was a 3-star. Doug Jones and Greg Slayton is down there at 8 right now. He's 100% right. They came in and then the next year, Hitter has the number one quarterback in that class. And not for nothing, SMU had one of the top 5. He had 2 top 10 quarterbacks from that class. Like it's some good quarterbacks within that 25-26 class right now, and they're all showing themselves right now. Like Slayton is a redshirt junior. He has another year. But my question will be, does Greg Slayton stay or does he leave, right? Like, because they got some horses behind him that's ready to go. I don't know how long they'll better keep those guys on the bench. I think Greg Slayton will probably play his second year as a full-time starter, which is now, and he's gone. But when you talk about these quarterbacks, and I'm talking about NFL throwing quarterbacks, we're looking at Doug will help himself during the combine, especially during the meeting rooms and things like that, and what he does in his pro day. Peter Kingsbury, I think he'll rise up the board as one of those quarterbacks that'll come out and be one of the top quarterbacks or talked about as the number one quarterback coming out of this year's draft once they see what he can do on the chalkboard. And I think Juju Lewis, coming to finish his season right now, for him, he can hurt himself and he also can help himself. Win a conference championship, and you can at least get to the game before the national title game or get to a title, and I think is a wrap. I think he goes number 1 overall. The conversation is there now. At number 4, we got a young quarterback up and coming right now. Hold on. Pull me down, Funky. Every Eagle fan in the world keep calling me like I care about the Eagles, man. I don't give a fuck about no fucking
Come on
Eagles.
about it. Let them the Super Bowl. I mean, they might take on.
Can they rush their way to a Super Bowl too? Because they done rushed their
Like
way to the
you,
conference championship.
like they don't even care if they throw for 50 yards. They don't care at all.
I'm gonna tell you like this: Trent Heffley is really, really making a name for himself. We spoke about him on the last show, but right now, what he's doing in Arizona is amazing because I didn't think he would be the starting quarterback. He started to play last year as a true freshman, and I didn't think he would be the starting quarterback when he got the job last year. So he won that shit in spring ball, and he never looked back right now. And he a quarterback that just stays within their system, and he does the things he need to do to get the wins right now. He's a winner right now, and he's number 4 on this list. And then number 5 is Kai Weber, but he just, that 800 plus yard game is a conversation that I don't know if he's 5 without it. That's just all I'm gonna say. He's a redshirt junior, and in my opinion, if I'm Tennessee, I'm throwing an NIL bag at him for him to stay one more year, for sure. But Philip Rivers' little nephew, comes out this year as well. And quiet as kept, he's been one of the better dual threat quarterbacks in college football as well. Development has been an issue. Like, I think he got lazy from his sophomore year to his junior year, and now as you see him sitting at an 83 in his senior year right now. And because of that, like, the stats will not show him like where he's going to come out. Draft prediction is not what he is for real, right? Because they go by overall versus talent versus what they do in their career is all about the overall coming out, which is going to hurt him because he's only 83. But he is a quarterback that I do think will be a second, third round type quarterback. Like, he can go in the second or third. Now, will he be a second or third round quarterback? I highly doubt it with 83 overall. But you do got to talk about him as a quarterback that can be, that will be on an NFL team at some point. Only went to 6 because of the controversy behind 5. All right, let's go to the best defensive player in the country right now. Colin Simmons, Carlos Manuel, both these guys, middle linebacker. These guys are day one guys, right? They're first round grades, first round guys. And all they're doing is rising their stock right now. LaRon Tongues, though, definitely a right end for Oregon right now. He's another guy that's going to be heavily compensated in the day one conversation in the draft. He's a redshirt sophomore, and I think he'll come out as a redshirt sophomore. Tyler Atkins, looking at a redshirt freshman, Georgia's number 1 linebacker in the 2026 class. But you're looking at a guy that is a redshirt freshman who's balling out this year for sure. He ain't coming out at all, but he's the number 4 linebacker on this list. And then you go right back to 5 at Alabama, Zena Azula, the last NIL player for Alabama on that defense right now. That's an impact player right now. And this is another guy that, to me, will be a high draft pick as well. So they're your top 5 when it comes down to best defensive players in college football right now. And Alabama's dominating with 3 out of the top 5. When it comes down to best defensive back, Eric Mahoney. This kid was an athlete. I remember beating out Craig for him as a wide receiver. He was an athlete. And when we got him, we went, you're looking at your athletes, you decide where they're going to play at. And he was a higher overall at safety. And it's panning out because he was a vital part of them getting to the game to go to the national title game last year. Things he did in that Oregon game and that Texas game. And he's just been taking off since then, right? 89 overall. He's a true junior. He's been starting since his freshman year. And he's really playing well right now on the list for the best defensive back right now. Stan Humphries, though, strong safety, true sophomore, Stan Humphries, strong safety, 6'1", 210 pounds, man, very versatile, right? This kid not only plays good in the secondary, but like he can come down and play linebacker for sure, and he's a thumper. He has no problem putting hands on you and really getting into the run game and playing football on that department. You're looking at James Ingram, Oregon cornerback. This kid's a slot corner. One thing about Oregon and their program, they develop really good slot corners, guys that you got to think about playing safety in the NFL. And what end up happening is these kids, not only are they developing and playing really good football, it's the system and the scheme that puts them in a situation to have him sitting at number 3 right now. How about Zamel Westerman, the strong safety, the redshirt junior for Arizona? Arizona does a good job with both their safeties, and they've been that way over the last 4 years, really getting good play out of their safeties. And then the last guy on this list, top 5-wise, is Dominic Feeney, true freshman for Tennessee, and he's playing out of his mind because he's a 79 overall right now, 6'5", 198 hybrid safety right now. And, I mean, that length and that height right now puts him in a situation he is going to develop. You'll see him go from a 79 to about an 84, 85 at the end of this year. But for him to be a 79 and his redshirt freshman year, that tells you he was a lower guy coming out overall wise, but I think cap space will allow him to develop to where he's going to go, especially after having the season he's having right now. All right, best running backs in the league right now. We got some really good running backs, and what I'm going to do is I'm not going to sit here and just talk about the top 5 because I do think there's some really good conversations around these running backs that's coming out. And a lot of these guys, we're going to talk about the upperclassmen guys, the guys that are eligible for the draft. We're going to talk about those guys, and then we're going to talk about the guys that should be the face of their program and the face of college football next season as well, right? So we're going to start with Devin Meredith, right? Like if I clicked on Devin Meredith right now, you will see how a 5-star running back like him, elite guy like he is who he is right now. But he's one of the highest overall players in college football right now. And in my opinion, he should be a day one running back. Like he's a guy that will go in the first round. Simple as that, right? And then the production behind him is evident as well, right? This kid's a monster. He's averaging 200 plus a game right now. And he's doing everything Alabama needs him to do for them to be where they are right now. And I do think right now, is with stats and all that stuff, you got to call him not only just the overall wise, but the best running back in college football right now. Now, there's some guys that you can absolutely argue the case for, right? But when it comes down to numbers don't lie, overall, all that stuff don't lie. 5-star kid that lived up to that 5-star bill, David Meredith was exactly that for Alabama. Rudy Akbar, right? Rudy Akbar, and he shares some time in the backfield with guys, but like you're looking at another guy that will be a high draft pick, and I don't see him staying past his junior year. Like this is another guy that's a redshirt junior who should be a senior right now, who's a guy that can go high in the draft. Like I do think second round, might even better fight his way into the first round. But then Curtis Maryland. Now, Curtis Mellon is in a system where throwing a football is more important than running a football. But Syracuse and Coach Falk, you've been doing a really good job with Curtis Maryland. Let me ask you this: if you gave him a player comp, who does he play like?
He's like a Marshall Falk, man. He's not as explosive, but he's like a Brian Westbrook actually. He's not as Marshall was like Saquon-esque. Marshall was explosive runner, right? It's like a Brian Westbrook. You know what I mean? Like he ain't gonna take it the distance, but he's just consistent. You know what I mean? Austin Eckler, Brian Westbrook type back. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna be a great pro for a number of years. But he's not a home run guy, if that makes sense. Like he's not, what I mean? He's getting caught in the second, third level, if that makes sense.
Would you say his best attribute is the fact that he's an every down back? Like he don't got to take him off the field.
Yeah, but he knows how to get open, man. He knows when to stay in the block, knows when to go out, knows when to chip, he knows when to D in. Like, come on, man. He knows in is busting the tackle ass Paul, and all right, let me go chip this guy. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Now
he knows all those things.
And he got some really good backs behind him, but I just think that tendency, the receiver back tendency that he has, fits perfect in what y'all do over there in Syracuse. And not for nothing, in the league where the running backs catch the ball at a high volume in this league, he hasn't been one of those guys that been a part of that high volume, but he's been highly productive. And that 93 overall, to me, will keep him in the first 2 rounds for sure. Now, I got to see Romeo Scales. We all was on headset and we watched that UCLA USC game late night the other night. And Romeo Scales, man, and then not just Romeo Scales, they got a quarterback that came out in that 2025 class as well, who's a monster, and wearing Reggie Bush's number 5. He's a dog as well, Mayalavia or something like that for USC. We'll talk about him in a second, but like Romeo Scales, I mean, he's a true sophomore, fault, right? And I do think that, you're looking at the next Reggie Bush. I do think that, yeah, because what I saw, bro, and I thought, I thought Gator would do some things in that game to make it a game, right? Like defensively, they were able to stop UCLA in the red zone a whole lot on 4th down. But when I saw him putting the game away and saw Romeo Scales taking over the ball game, that showed me that this guy's the next one up, right? This is the guy you're going to talk about coming into that 2029 season as, man, pay attention, right? And he's right at the right overall as a sophomore right now, 87 overall, to be, compensating as one of those first round type running backs going forward. So I like this kid a lot. And he's showing that he can do a lot of things right now with Shifty and 360 right now on him. Now, Kendron Young. When Arizona lost their top running back last year, they went to the portal. And remember, this is the guy that me and him was fighting for. And I accidentally clicked off him, targeted him, and lost this nigga. I remember, that's the guy I'm talking about. 6 foot from Notre Dame. This was Mike's running back. NIL player. This is a real life nigga. So, and listen, bro.
Oh, real quick, not to cut you off, man. Shout out to Mike if you're listening, man. You know what I'm saying? We miss you in the game, brother. Hope all is well.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Iris, nah, you right though. Iris Tillman, man, he holding it. I just was talking to him yesterday. He good, just getting some things together before he get back to this shit. But Kendron Young is a home run hitter, right? He got the size to be an every down back for sure. But he a home run hitter. This guy can go 70 out the gate with no problem. He plugged and played, right? You get this win in the portal, which was a huge win because you would have had to rely on some backs that wasn't ready yet, and you was able to secure your running back to go right into the system that you actually play, and he's doing some things. Look, Falk, you played him in week 1. He was the guy that you keyed in on. You knew you had to stop him as a receiver and a running back. I played him week 10, and he literally put the game away himself, right? On a 3rd and 6, contact, man to man. Him and Eric Mahoney, the best defensive back award winner as of right now, meets him in the backfield, 6 yards in the backfield. He breaks a tackle and get 8, cleans that up, nail the ball down, game over. I just think when you get a win like that in the portal, and you can see it, like remember Hoodie did it a couple seasons ago when he brought in a quarterback from Kansas State and Dylan Edwards from Kansas State. That was a win in the portal. You know what I mean? Like they're wins when those guys come in and impact your team right away. That's a win in the portal, and I think Kendron Young is doing that for Arizona right now, and it's giving him time to develop some of them young freshman running backs that he got coming up right now. It gives him some time to develop those young guys right now. While you got a stud that comes in that been playing football, for the last 4 seasons. He has experience, played in a lot of games, and he can come down and hold shit down. He's doing exactly that. Oklahoma got a young freshman that's a monster right now too, that you're going to have to pay attention to going forward as well. I said I wasn't going to talk about the top 5. I'm going to go down the list. And then you got Terry Hansen and a loaded backfield full of elusive guys, full of different style Tennessee running backs and Clemson, right? Because Falk, and I know we talked about this not too long ago. Clemson got a fucking running back, ETN, I think it is, sitting on the bench just waiting to come out. And Terry Hansen is holding it down right now as a redshirt sophomore. But, I know what they got behind him right now. So for what he's doing right now, for Clemson right now, is the reason why Clemson doesn't have a loss and that they can get really physical. You got to think about what they got now and what's coming, right? The quarterback they got right now, Greg Slayton, and Terry Hansen in that backfield makes them a hard team to stop, especially when they go hurry up. Because you got to deal with the quarterback that can take off on you and a running back that can do just about anything when it comes down to being a running back, right? Catch the ball at the backfield, run, hit in between tackles, beat you with speed, do it all. But the kid that's behind this kid that's redshirting right now, just know I said that, is a quarterback. And then he just got another 3 or 4 quarterback, but it's a quarterback on their roster right now and a freshman that's being redshirted right now that when it's their time to go, boy, scary. And then there's Michael Terry, the 3-star elite running back athlete from out of Texas. Don't look at that Cornelius, North Carolina tag. This was the number 1 athlete in the 2025 class. He really committed to Texas. This is a real life Michael Terry III. He wasn't supposed to be starting for Colorado this year. Brandon Hood was projected to go in the 2nd round for Colorado and came back and then lost the starting job in spring game to Michael Terry III. And he's actually holding it down because he still got some guys in the building between Najee Israel, Michael Terry III, and Brandon Hood in Colorado's backfield right now, where this kid is amazing. I think he's on his way to 2,000 yards as a running back this year, and he's going to be the first back since Rashaan Salam to touch the 2,000-yard mark for Colorado in Colorado's history right now. Michael Terry has 1,800 on the ground right now. He's, he could do that in this game against Baylor. If he goes over 200 in this game against Baylor, he'll be the first back since 1990 something, where Rashaan Salam was the Heisman winner to actually touch the 2,000-yard mark in a while right now. At 6'3", 20 pounds, though, Falk, receiving back. And he does a really good job catching the ball. We don't really throw the ball to him because of what we have at the receiver room. But the problem is this kid went from an 86 overall last year into a 93 last year, and now he's up to a 95. The chances of him being a sophomore, a redshirt sophomore, and staying in college football is pretty much zero to none. Especially if you go over 2,000, he'll be a first-round pick for sure. And then there's Emmanuel Cave, another running back that's showing himself right now, right? He's been on the roster in Arkansas, but they got a new coach, new system, new style play, and now Emmanuel Cave is one of those guys that's just doing a lot for the University of Arkansas right now. Randy Head takes over for Tennessee's running back. Remember, Tennessee was blessed with a couple of really good running backs that were real-life players that they didn't have to really deal with the running back room because they had guys behind guys and now they're using their guys that they brought in. Head as a junior is doing a really good job in their system. Now he's not what they had over the last 3 years, but he has the potential to be that. He should come back next year and give them an opportunity to have a running back in their second season for a second season as a starter in their program. Then you're looking at Donald Ryder. This guy won the rushing title 2 years in a row. He's sitting at number 11 right now for Oregon. And he's a junior, but he's won that title. Russian title 2 years in a row, and he's always a factor to be able to, take over a ball game at any moment. And he's another high overall guy. And remember, what I'm talking about when I say these guys with high draft grades that I'm predicting, these guys have production right along with their high overalls. So in my opinion, these high overall guys will go high because that's what they do in this game. But they also got the production behind them to be able to kind of answer the question on who they really are. And then Ed Guerrera from Rutgers is sitting at number 12. I don't really know much about him, but we do know this is his senior year, and he's on his way out the door, but he is in the top 12 right now. All right, let's get to the receiver room. All right, Falk, I'm going to ask you one question before I talk about the top 5 receivers right now on this board. Why is Rashad Bate, as a true freshman, the best receiver in college football?
He's dangerous at all 3 levels. He's dangerous with jet sweeps, dangerous with intermediate routes, and he can go past you. He really has no weakness in the game as a receiver. You know what I mean? Like he could do the jet sweep game. You know, right? He could do the RPO game, bubble game. He could hit you with the slant, the in route, the zig route, and then he can run the fade, the go route. You know what I mean? He really has no weakness in his game. He's similar to the guy that's in the NFL turning it up from Ohio State. Remember, he was the best receiver as a freshman. Smith. Remember him? Remember that guy?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he's a clone, man. He's of that ilk. You know, he's the best receiver right now as a freshman in college football.
Got you. All right. Now, would you argue with me if I told you Clemson has the best wide receiver room in the country?
Now, I wouldn't argue it. I mean, they don't get you.
All right, is the reason why I'm ready to talk about this right now, because it's the difference between having the best receiver room, and having guys on this list, right? Like I just said, Clemson has the best wide receiver room in the country, yet you don't see a receiver on this list.
Yeah, there's any Clemson receiver, you know, and this is no shade. Like they're the best team in the country. But their offense, you know, they just like
It's
to
not
have a threat.
their offense is not
Yeah, they
built
like to have a
around.
threat of it, but they don't. You know what I'm saying? They like to have a threat of having
I
guys out
brought
there.
that
They
up to
never.
ask you this: if he decided to make a guy the headliner of his wide receiver room,
Oh, he,
is
he
there
could do it with no doubt.
is there multiple guys that he could choose from to be on this list to be a top 5
He
guy at any
has
moment?
he has several if he wanted to. He
All
has
right.
several if he wanted to.
When you talk about the top 5 guys on this list right now, these guys are headliners, and I'm gonna argue with you and say they're really not. Is one that's really not that's in the top 5, but the rest of these guys are the guy for their team. When the quarterback needs to get a first down, they go on to that guy. Would you say
Right.
Rashad Baker is that guy?
Yeah.
All right. Would you argue with me if I told you Quentin Gibson is not that guy for Colorado?
Nah. I would say he is actually that guy.
You would say he is that guy?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, hold on, Gibson or hold on, what's the other one? I'm sorry.
You thinking about Draylon Miller?
Oh no, Jalen Brown. I'm sorry,
Remember,
no, Gibson.
remember
He dropped that
Draylon
guy.
Miller, White Mike. You
Hold
looking
on,
at Mike
hold on.
McEwen?
It's a complicated question, and I'm gonna tell you why it's complicated. He has the attributes to be that guy. If that makes sense.
Got you.
He has the attributes to be that guy.
All right, so Quentin Gibson is could be the Cam Michael of Colorado's offense. Could be the Travis Hunter of Colorado's offense. Not Travis Hunter being a both two-way player, just of the offense. But he's not the best receiver on the team right now. That best receiver is sitting at number 9 right now, in Draylon Miller. But Draylon Miller's been there since his true freshman year in 2024. Quentin has been there since the 2025 class. Now, with that being said, 2026 class. Number 2 on this list, I'm quick to argue he's not the best receiver in college football right now. I think he will be one of the best receivers in college football and can be arguably saying that right now. But there's guys behind him right now, and I think is better than him right now. And I'll go back all the way down to number 9 at Draylon Miller. But I think the production is the reason why he's sitting here at number 2. But there's a sleeper receiver on this list at number 3, and that's Kane Obi for Kentucky that none of us is talking about because nobody's paying attention to him. And I can say right now, would you say a coach and a coordinator and a scheme could change a player?
Yeah, for sure. Sure. A coaching the scheme could different. I mean, again, look at it in, life. Look at the Eagles. Look what Saquon Barkley has
It's done
done
for
for
the
that off,
Eagles, right?
but also the coaching change of what's his name, the boy from the Cowboys went to the Chargers, like changing his philosophy, like, look, we got a dog, we gonna run the ball. You know what I'm saying? We gonna do window dressing with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if y'all start cheating, I still got a capable quarterback and then dog receivers. So pick your poison. You know what I'm saying?
The
Oh man,
problem I
people don't
got,
appreciate they put Beckham. Remember he was a suspect at tackle.
yeah,
They put that nigga at guard in the game. They got like 6'8" at guard, mauling
right.
coaching.
And that's the thing what I'm about to say about Kane Obi. I think Kane Obi doesn't get the respect that he deserves. Now, as a junior, 94 overall, we know he'll be a high drafted player because of the overall, but he has the production this year to go along with it. Now, he doesn't have the production over his career to go along with it, but this year in particular, he does. The next guy on this list has a production from day one. He's been a guy that came in as a freshman, played in the Tennessee crowded receiver room. He was still there when Nico Amaliva was throwing the ball, and he's in his senior year right now. Jeff Streck for Tennessee right now. This is the guy that his deep threat guy for sure. 6'3", 206-pound deep threat. He's going to be a prototypical NFL player when his turn to when his name get called by Roger Goodell and them on the stage and all that. But he has a decorated career though. Like he's done it since his freshman year. And I will, when we get to the stats and stuff like that, I will go over that just to show you like what type of player he's actually been for Tennessee, because he came in at day one, became their number one receiver from true freshman year till now, his true senior year. Texas has a young receiver that he would love to argue with you and say, hold up, bro, you talking about Rashad Baker as a true freshman is the best receiver in college football. Jalen Cunningham for Texas, the number 8 team in the country, deep threat as well, is a true freshman, and he's balling out of control as well. So I think there's going to be a lot of
I mean,
conversations when we get to the stats.
I'm gonna do this, and I might sound biased. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna sound a little biased, but do the eye test. What did your eyes tell you? Seen it. What did your eyes tell you?
This the problem. My eyes have seen you play your game. I haven't seen a Jalen Cunningham game yet. I
Think he
will.
has something similar?
I don't know yet. I haven't seen a game yet, but I will be watching that Alabama Texas game that's going to
I'm
get
gonna
played.
ask you again. Do you think he has something similar to what you saw with your own eyes? The
I
player of
know
the year in college football.
I know he's the number 5 quarter receiver on this list right now as a true freshman, so that says something.
Again, you're not trying to. I get what you're trying to do. Not answering the question. In your mind, do you think he has a play better than a player of the year?
No, no. But
That's
if
it. That's it.
my
That's
question
it.
is this, I'm gonna say no because I haven't seen it. But I don't know yet. We're gonna find out though in this Alabama Texas game. We're gonna find out who Jalen Cunningham really is going up against them 6'2" and 6'3" corners.
Yeah, I mean, again, Bacon's a standout with 2 other 1,000 yards.
And see that's the thing that gets ignored, and especially when we talked about the quarterback play right now, it gets ignored with what these other guys are doing with players on their team as well, right? Like, you can have the best running back in the league. What is your other players doing, right? And when we start showing stats, you're going to get to that. You're going to see the guys that got multiple players doing multiple things for them, which gives them, to me, makes it a scheme and not a threat. Make sense?
Nah, it makes perfect sense. I'm just saying, like, a guy could be on that list. Mike Evans Jr., you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm. When you look at the top 5 Lombardi Award race right now, this award is presented to the defensive lineman of the year. You're looking at Colin Simmons, LaRon Tongues. These are guys' names, and Zena Umalazula. These are guys' names we've been calling. And you got 2 young kids in London Merritt's coming around, Alexander Pearson, both from the 2025 class, balling out in your top 5. It sucks because I could go farther down the top 5 list and talk about some really, really good guys on this list, but for time, we're not going to go past that. Now, this is senior quarterbacks. The Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award goes to the top senior quarterback in the country. Right now, if the season was to stop right now at this point, it would go to Peter Kingsbury. But Doug Jones, Juju Lewis, Phillip Rivers, and this is what I couldn't wait to see. And at number 5, Makai Talavea for USC. All these guys came in at the same year. Now, Peter has 1 year ahead of these guys because he was a freshman in 2024 and got redshirted, so he came back at 2025 as a freshman. But the next 4 are all coming out of that class, right? And only one of these guys on this list was top 5 coming out, and that's Doug Jones. Juju 3-star, Phillip Rivers 4-star, and Makai Talavea I think was also a 4-star as well. There's some really good quarterbacks in this class. If you look down the list, there's some really good quarterbacks still got a shot to come out and be guys in this upcoming NFL draft. All right, let's go to the best defensive end. It's going to be a short conversation. It's Colin Simmons, Laurent Tongues, you got Zena Umazuluna, London Merritt, and Alexander McPherson. It doesn't change too much from the Lombardi Award winner. But best interior lineman in the country is Taylor Cobb for Beller Squad. Alfonso Jewell, North Carolina State, Brandon Bowman, UCLA, Tyron Minter, Texas, and Nick Kloss, Arkansas, best interior lineman. Best tight ends in college football, Matthias Knox. He's been doing it since his true freshman year over there for Syracuse. Yeah, he already won this award, right?
Yeah, he won the award. Came in, I think, 2nd or 3rd last year.
LSU got a redshirt freshman in Devon Butler, who's a monster as well. 89 overall as a redshirt freshman, vertical threat, 6'5", 245. We got natural and fan favorite as his mentor. David Washington from out of Utah. Okay, Harold Burgers, senior. This kid is 3rd on the list right now. And this the funny shit though. Well, nobody say nothing about it though, because we don't be paying attention all the time to everybody. But this man got a tight end, sitting at tight end right now, knowing damn well he ain't supposed to be at tight end right now at 5'11", 188 pounds. Vertical threat. But then when we say shit is a problem, right? But you know damn well this nigga don't belong at it's always somebody, bro. Oh my God, it's always somebody. Like we already. Oh my God, it is what it is. And the fucked up part about it is, not one person will complain about this until they lose to him. He said, fuck that, I'm getting my senior on the field. I don't give a fuck if it's 78 or not. He on the field. And the problem is, he probably like an 88 overall receiver right now. I'm not even talking about this motherfucker, but I will talk about James Gee, blocking tight end, who has receiving talent. He will be a motherfucking NFL draft pick for sure at number 4. And then the only person in the league right now in college football that's getting shit crazy, bro. Like, that shit crazy. And I understand you can move athletes around and all that good shit, but these niggas, they come from that, right? I just had to start my DNA league over because niggas got fucking 197-pound deep threats with 99 speed at tight end, or they got 340-pound fucking tight ends because, they was an athlete, I moved them. That man, nobody heard that shit. Let's use common sense, because in college football, that's the one scheme-based situation where you can have 7, 8 linemen on the field. Nobody ain't gonna say nothing. In the NFL, we're gonna make a big deal about that shit. But you don't gotta move these guys. Like, it's just crazy. Guys just do crazy shit, and then when you call them out on it, we the wrong guys for talking about it. But I'm gonna tell you like this though, Falk. We went through Hoodie roster just to see the elites and the 5-stars and all that. Did you ever see that many elite 5-star tight ends? And Curtis Costanzo, I don't even know if this is the guy I'm talking about, but it's about 3 of them over there. Like, again, I mean, when you got to give credit when credit's due, man. A guy that puts it together. A guy that figures it out and breaks the code and know what he's doing and putting things together like the way he's doing over there in Clemson right now. And I think Hoodie would agree with this. What comes behind that is, let's start getting these titles now. Like, I feel like he has a roster where titles should be consistently playing in that bitch or winning that bitch. You agree or disagree with that?
Yeah, I think it's if he don't win it this year, you got to start looking at the coach.
If he don't win the title this year?
Yeah. He don't win a title this year. I mean, he has a title. So don't let me back that up. He
Yeah,
has a
but
title.
no, but I'm gonna say I agree in a sense. And why I'm gonna say that is because he
But
has a title
the
under the.
last 3 years, he has probably essentially got about 55 stars.
And this is why I agree and disagree with you because I think this from 26 to 27 over the last 2 years is where his dominant recruiting has really been in this play. So if you're looking at the 26, 27 class and we in 28 right now, I don't think him not winning the title this year, we start looking at him. I think next year we start looking at it. Make sense? Or you still think, nah, since
I think just from somebody who had to play a lot of guys young, and they was 3 stars, had to win. You got the elite of the winning there. Like their freshman year, cool. Their sophomore year, you don't got no excuse. Man. He's getting the elite of the elite. He had 50 plus 5 stars last 4 years. I mean 3 years. This is my opinion, man. I mean, he has it. He's a championship coach, but when you get that many men,
see the
come on,
reason why I
man.
look at it like that is whatever year they come in, you can ignore that year. So again, if I'm ignoring 26, then you start to pay attention to 27 and 28 for those guys. If I'm ignoring 27, then I'm paying attention to 28, 29. So I'm on the borderline of what you're saying, and a lot of it I agree, but I also think coming into next season should determine everything because you really should see his roster really take its course next year. You seeing it now? He got one of the highest overall rosters in the league and is deserving. But I think those guys, you go through a year or two in a program and you program it for a year or two. By the time you get to year 3 in that program, whether it's a rare share year or it's a true year, it starts to determine who you really are.
Yeah, I see that, man. I still think we could agree to disagree.
Got
I
you.
still think if he don't win this year or at least have an appearance, a big failure, man. It's
I'm,
just like, come on, man. If Colorado had those, if Alabama was getting that, Arizona was getting that, North Carolina State, they would be expected to win, man. Immediate. You know what I mean?
I hear you. Yeah,
And not for nothing, you already got the pedigree. You're already a championship coach.
I hear you. I definitely hear you. I'm quite sure how you feel, Hoodie. Do you agree with Falky or myself or neither one of us?
He watching?
Yeah, he watching. He been commenting the whole time. All right,
Tell that bitch he need to win.
Broyles Award. Tim McKinney, the defensive coordinator for Clemson, is number one. Channing Butler, y'all defensive coordinator. Offensive coordinator is number two. John Burton, the Clemson's OC, is number three. Darrell, we're gonna call him Patrick Falk, the offensive coordinator. We're gonna call Channing Butler Patrick Falk, and then Darrell Turner is your defensive coordinator. He is the number four guy, and then Travis Humphrey for USC DC is the number five guy on the Brewers Award. Now, best linebackers in the country goes to Carlos Manuel, the junior, redshirt junior, and then Tyler Atkins, the redshirt freshman for Colorado. At number three, Stacey Bay, middle linebacker in his redshirt senior year, NIL player, real life nigga. Jeff Peppers, man. Jeff Pepper. Don't mistake him for Peppers. Jeff Pepper for Syracuse. This is his senior year. Falky, was he everything you expected him to be at middle linebacker? And then right behind him, you got King Joseph Edwards. Now, you had a lot of movement around DN, right outside linebacker, but you found his calling, and he's been a monster ever since. But you're losing two of your top defenders after this season, and Pepper and King Joseph Edwards.
Yeah, man. He's been a rock, man. He's been playing pretty much since the sophomore year. Sophomore, never redshirted. He's been an anchor, man. He's gotten us to really 2 national championship games, and it's just really on his back, like defensively, like he
Before I
on
talk
that
about
guy.
the best centers right now, let's talk about this Syracuse program, right? Because in the breath, we talk about how what you've done with that Syracuse program is impressive, but we also have to answer this question: at what point does it become a problem of being into making it to the title games and not winning them?
oh, we don't win it this year, it's the coach. It's on me. If we don't win it this year, it's the coach. There's no like the expectation is the year one we got there against Alabama. We was just we were still young. We made some mistakes. We played a great first half, and then some things didn't go our way, and then it just got away from us. And then against who was it? No, Tennessee was the first one. Tennessee was
You
right.
play Alabama in the second one. Tennessee was the first one.
Yeah. So Tennessee, we just wasn't ready. Tennessee, we played a great first half, and we just wasn't ready. We wasn't ready. We ain't had the horses, to run with those guys. And one play, the guy, third quarter, third down, big third down through the seam route, and he
Nah,
just
you
glitched
play
out.
Alabama. You play Alabama in 26 and Tennessee in 27. Because 24 Alabama won it. 25 Hoodie won it. 26 Alabama won it. 27 Tennessee won it. We in 28 right
Yeah.
now.
So against Tennessee, so Alabama again, we played a great first half, and then just a pick six before. We was in a good rhythm, and the pick six before just kind of took the momentum away. Um, and then Tennessee, we felt like we had we was there with talent wise, but he still had a lot of seniors. Um, he had a lot of seniors, and we was one seam away that my guy literally didn't react to the changing that game. But yeah, we don't. No more excuses. If we don't win this game, we don't win this year.
But look, what if, let's say you don't get there this year? Is that a conversation too? Or it gotta be if you get the next time you get to a title game, if you don't win it, it's the coach.
I think if we don't, I think it both. It's for us. It's championship or bust.
Yeah,
Even though
that's
I know
how.
it's Syracuse, and I know it's lofty thinking, and, expectations. But yeah, that's how I just feel. I feel like we as a team have what it takes. We've put together the pieces to be able to get there. Now we gotta win it. Now if we don't get there, I think it's the same. But if we get there and don't be successful, it might be a change, and it might not be the coach's choice.
Braden Bowman, the number one center in the country right now, is sitting at number one. Actually, number two center. Tyron Mentor for Texas is number two. Allen Hendricks for Louisville is number three. Nick Love for Stanford sitting at number four. And number five is Jason Zandamela for Florida, sitting at number five as best centers in the country right now. And the next awards is going to be the Lou Grossa best punter, and we're just going to skip that to punt returner Carson Grove. Seems like Alabama every year has a guy that's winning this special team returner guy in award. He got a new guy in Carson Grove. He is an elusive senior, 5'10", 170-pound running back for Alabama. He doesn't start in their backfield, but he is their punt return, kick return guy. Kendrick Young comes over to Arizona from Notre Dame, and not only is he their horse in their backfield, he also does their return game. He's number two on this list. Number three, looking at Jason Robinson Jr., deep threat receiver from out of Long Beach, California. He's a senior sitting there for USC. And then the young rookie, Jalen Cunningham, the wide receiver, the freshman sensational wide receiver, and for Texas is out there playing kick returner, punt returner as well. Why doesn't Rashad Baker play kick returner, punt return?
He does. He actually has, I think, 2 kickoff returns.
Oh, I see him. He down here. He definitely down here on this list. All right, cool. All right, number 5, not to ignore him, is Jaron Brandenburg for Kentucky, the senior running back, 6', 180, 94 overall. This guy going to the league too. Shit. Oh my God. Kentucky got some guys over there right now. All right, now that's your the awards list race right now, and let's talk about the real quick the 5 Heisman guys right now. Colin Simmons could be the first defensive player to win the award since year one, but Devin Meredith, the running back, look, he just comes out of the game against Georgia, user game, 56-14, he goes for 18 carries, 246 yards, 13.7 yards to carry, 3 rushing touchdowns. Why is he so explosive in user and computer games? Only caught the ball once for 5 yards out of the backfield, but he dominated in between the tackles against Georgia, Coach Tata.
Just think a scheme, man. I think a scheme. I think what they run is just conducive to guys being successful. They put them in a position. It don't matter the name. You know what I'm saying? Like it don't matter the name, the year. I mean, it don't matter the year. They just keep inserting guys and they're successful.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. Like that's exactly what it is. It's the scheme. Sometimes it's good to have the scheme because the scheme you could just plug and play, right? It's not too many coaches that can just bring the talent in and just make it fit their scheme. Most guys got to go search for those guys that can absolutely come in and be what they need them to be versus just plug and play, plug and play, plug and play. And that's a good that's a testament to the scheme itself, right? But Rashad Bate, he just came off of the Virginia game with 12 receptions for 360, 30 yards a pop, 4 receiving touchdowns, and put his mark at the number 3 guy in the Heisman race right now, as well as a true freshman. That's very impressive for a true freshman to be sitting on this list like that. Carlos Manuel, the middle linebacker, he had 8 tackles against Georgia. And he's sitting at number 4. And then Peter Kingsbury just slid on the list with a 25 for 30 game, 617 through 7 touchdown passes, only 1 INT. He also had 2 rushes for 757, not going over the 700-yard mark total, but they have a total of 8 touchdowns in this ball game against Virginia. Why was he so successful in this ball game, particularly in what he's been doing all year to get him at number 5 on this list right now?
I mean, he's had a few games with multiple turnovers, but just getting guys the ball, spreading it out. It doesn't look like that with big numbers, but he has two other guys that has over 1,000. Um, Running back has about 300-400. Tight end has about 400-500. So everybody's getting doing their thing, man. Like reception could be a little lower. We got 14 on the season, but spreading the ball around. You know
It's
what I'm
hard.
saying? Other outside.
My bad, not to cut you off, but it's hard to get a quarterback on the keep a quarterback on the Heisman list because interceptions kill them. Like they can have 70 touchdowns and 16 interceptions, and you throw a 17th interception, and that'll kill you off the board.
Yeah.
Which is mind boggling to me because Juju sitting with 68, but over the last 5 games, he went from only 2 interceptions to throwing 12 picks in the last 5 games. And because of that, it drops him off that. He was on the Heisman ballot and dropped him right off of that list. Them rain games, man. Mentals matter with quarterbacks, especially when you don't bring in 5 stars or a high elite 4 stars. You bring in these 3-star quarterbacks, bro. If they don't got the right mentals, and lately we've been playing in rain games, and I can't throw a pass in the rain. Shit, crazy. But Kingsbury, when it comes down to stats right now, he's leading in stats with 59.76. Weber for Tennessee just jumped into second place with 52.09 after throwing for 870 yards and shit. And Juju at 47.94. Right behind him is Mike Moffitt, the redshirt freshman for Kentucky. Doug Jones, 4,596. Heffley with 4,458. When you're looking at touchdowns right now, nobody's throwing more touchdowns than Juju. He's 1 ahead of Kingsbury with 68. Kingsbury has threw 67 touchdowns, 16 interceptions, 75% on the year. Juju has 68 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, 76% on a year. Weber's right behind him with 54 touchdowns, but 29 INTs, 68 completion percentage. Moffitt, 54 and 21, 65%. Jones, 54. He's only thrown 11 picks this year, 79% as a quarterback right now. And then you're looking at Casper for Ronnie Casper, the young gunner for Oregon. He took over for Achilles Smith, who came in the same year as Lewis and those guys, Doug Jones and all those guys. And this kid comes in as a true freshman that takes that job. He's 50 for 28, 56%. This kid doesn't throw too many jet sweeps. These are all downfield throws. And then there's the other kid, the sophomore sensational, and Heffley sitting here with 48 and 20, 71% on the year. When it comes down to the run game right now, we're looking at who got the most carries in the league. I can tell you right now, it's the kid from Colorado with 243 carries on the year. Cave second with 223. Then you're looking at a from whoever this kid is from Rice. Won't care about him. Maryland, Curtis Maryland. It's surprising for you to have 216 carries. What is it that you see that gave you? Because you usually sitting with 180, 190 carries every year with Maryland. Now you got 216. What is it that you see? Or is it his senior year that he's one of the best offensive players?
Trying to get his name in the record book, in terms of the conference. He was in striking distance of Trevor Etienne for all-time rushing yards in the ACC as well as touchdowns. So we wanted him to go out with He's been he's been playing since he was a freshman. So he's like Peppers. He's one of those guys that really has been a backbone of our success. And we
Hmm.
wanted him just to get him in the record books. And he's close, man. I think he's a couple touchdowns away from being in that record book. For the conference, rather, not national, but the conference.
It's crazy because like this is a run heavy game, and the fact of the matter is when you start looking at guys that got 1,000 yards,
Actually,
is
he
a
just got it.
lot.
He just got the rush yards.
He got it.
In the conference, 5,000, 5,000, 4 yards. He just passed it, and then rushing touchdowns. I think he is 2 away from breaking the record. He got 69. Travis Etienne has 70.
When you talk
Yeah.
about rushing yards on the season right now, fuck, this is ridiculous. Devin Meredith has 169 carries on the year, bro. That's it, 169. For 2,213 yards, he's averaging 13 yards a carry right now.
That means they're mauling guys.
Something's going on in Alabama where they motherfucking doing what they want in the run game. That shit crazy. That's impressive as fuck. Congratulations. Meredith is really doing what he do. He's under 170 carries and
Yeah.
2,213 yards rushing right now. Now, Michael Terry
Phenomenal.
is on his way to 1,000, 1802. So he really needs 198 to be able to touch that 2,000 yard mark again, being the first Colorado back since Marshawn Salam, rest in peace, Marshawn Salam, to be able to touch that now. Terry Hansen, he said, Meta. Look at Gator, bro. Where Brandon at? I know he watching. I know one of them niggas is watching right now. Stop letting these niggas kill y'all with this meta shit. Oh my God.
Meta.
Meta.
Meta. Meta.
Meta.
Meta.
Meta. Meta. Look at how about Hansen? You're looking at Terry Hansen with 180 carries. He got 1459 on the year right now. Look, you got a lot of backs that's touched 1,000 yards this year, but it's a little different with seeing guys do it with the way they doing that shit, right? And these guys are the guys that we talking about right now. It's very impressive in what they doing right now. Akbar has been 1,000 yard back his entire career, and he's been a guy that really touches the end zone a whole lot for that UCLA team. Listen, let me ask you though, Falk. If you UCLA and you absolutely got the best, there's nobody that can argue that UCLA doesn't have the best offensive line in the country. I'm gonna ask you a question. Just looking at stats, 162 carries for Akbar, 1402 rushing. He averages 8.7 a game, 128 yards a game, 20 touchdowns on the season right now. Do you think having the best offensive line, does that correlate? Those yards and shit, touchdowns, does that correlate?
I think tight ends and receivers as well. Like everything together.
I'm gonna tell you like this: the way he played the game, Akbar he's the leading ball carrier for them. But if you know how I can show you my running backs all got, I got 3 different running backs that get carries. I'm saying that about UCLA. He do the same shit, especially in that flexible offense. They run more than one running back in that system over there. So don't let the numbers fool you, right? The non-high volume of carries, 162, and then 8.7. He averaged 9 yards a carry already. So that's impressive. You give him 243 carries, you know what the fuck he would have been doing this year. That's all I'm saying. So I don't think it hurts him that he's not leading the league in rushing yards right now. I think they just go through their system. But having an offensive line is the reason why he can go 8.7, almost 9 yards a pop on any given carry. Oklahoma's running back is sitting with 1328, and then Emmanuel K from Arkansas is sitting with 1260. Now, touchdown makers right now, you're looking at 24 touchdowns from Maryland. Meredith with 23, Akbar with 20. Terry and Randy Head for Tennessee are tied with 18. And then Scooby Tolson is another guy I think you should pay attention to as well. He's coming up and coming right now, along with Scales Romeo. That's the guy right here. 205 carries, 1,100 yards. I just think he gives them a true running back in that backfield. Naylor and then Hansen with 14 touchdowns as well. All right, let's get to receivers. All right, receptions on the year right now. Rashad Baker holds that with 113. We got three guys that touched 100 catches already this year. Bake with 113, Quentin Gibson with 108, and Jalen Cunningham with 103. So you got two freshmen and a sophomore leading the college football in receptions, along with Streck with 90, and then you got he's done transfer from Kansas to Hawaii, 81 catches. And Nitro Tuggle in his senior year, real life guy, 79 on the season right now. But when you get to the yards, there are some guys. So we already got two guys over 2,000. This man, Bake, is on his way to 3,000 receiving yards right now. Man, you OPing, bro. I don't know. Is that dick riding or something? Like, what the fuck going on? Hold the fuck up, bro. We ain't just letting that slide. Ain't know what happened, motherfucker. 113 catches from the freshman, 2,619 yards from the freshman, 218 yards a game from the freshman, and 37 touchdowns. Damn, where the rest of the players at?
Let me go to my stats. You can see.
I'm going there. Definitely going there.
Where's my stats?
Kane
No better
Obi,
over here.
73
No better
catches,
here.
2,216, 30.4. 205 yards a game, 202 yards a game. He got 29 touchdowns. Shit, crazy. Streck with 90 catches for 1985, 22.1, 180 a game, and 25 touchdowns on the year. Quentin Gibson, 108 catches, 1735, 16.1, 158 yards a game, 31 touchdowns right now. Why you ain't say damn? Anybody else catching the ball over there for y'all?
Yeah, you know.
You ain't gonna say that though, right? You ain't gonna say that about me, right? I'm just saying.
You telling yourself.
I'm just saying. You can look on the screen right now to see they ain't how I go down over there in Colorado. It's definitely another nigga up
The
here.
same in Syracuse. You go to Syracuse.
It's definitely another nigga up here. You ain't gonna just see one player doing nothing over here. Ezekiel Rada for Arkansas, 75 catches, 1477, 19 touchdowns. How about Ash Lane for Notre Dame, 56 catches, 1479, 17 touchdowns. Evan Cummins, receiver for Alabama, 62 catches, 1420, 22.9, 129 yards, 18 touchdowns. And you're looking at Freaky Friday, Florida, 57, 1406. He got 11 touchdowns on the year. And then there's that kid, Draylon Miller, with 60 catches for Draylon Miller, 1397, 23 yards a game, 127 a game, 21 receiving touchdowns. LaWayne McCoy, real life guy from out of Miami, dog, sitting there with 15 touchdowns, 1389. There go another Syracuse guy, Wayne Addy, 51 catches, 1318, 12 touchdowns.
Keep going down a little bit. Keep going down a little bit more.
Demetrius Lemons for UCLA. You got Juan Pike, Oregon. You're looking at Malik Shaw, Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech be beating the shit out of niggas on the low. Zion Kearney, Mike Evans Jr., 43 catches, 1247, 12 touchdowns. So that's three guys over 1,000 yards. So I'll shut up. My bad. I can't say I got three right now. Rashad Baker, 37 touchdowns. Quentin with 31. Obi with 29. Streck, 25. 21 from Lemons. 21 from Draylon Miller. Kearney with 19. Tied with Pike and Rada and Cunningham, the true freshman. Cummings and Tuggles all with 18. Looking at Ash Lane, Jasper Parker, Ernest Ty, and Parker Livingston, 15-15. I'll stay there. All right.
Did you do rushing touchdowns?
Yeah.
Okay.
You winning. You got 24 right over top of Babe Bull with 23. I'm saying, though, hold up, though. Hold the fuck up. Hold the fuck up. I'll go down the list a little bit more. White Mike, 54 catches, 1,000 yards on the butt, 90.9 yards a game. 90.9 yards a game and 14 touchdowns. Hold up, bro. You ain't the only nigga with 3,000 yard receivers over here, cuz.
Yeah, let's get it. Wouldn't expect none of this.
You ain't the only nigga with the niggas over here, cuz. All right, defensive stats. I hate doing the defensive stats because they really don't show everything. You gotta keep going through. When you go to defensive stats, the national ain't gonna show it. So what I'll do is I'll show the tackles right now, but then when it comes down to showing tackle for losses and things like such, I'm gonna have to go to each individual conference. So in the ACC, you got Sean Johns, you got John Peppers and King Joseph, Emil and Williams, all Syracuse. 25 tackle for loss, 25 tackle for loss, 23 tackle for loss, 23 tackle for loss, 20, and then you go to your first guy outside of that. And Clemson has Sean Cookis with 19 tackle for losses right now. B.J. McCoy for North Carolina State. If you go to the Big 12, you're looking at Atkins with 37, McPherson with 34, Merritt with 31, Meta, and then
Meta,
Stacey Bay with 30 of
Meta.
them bitches. I don't even I barely double A gap blitz and nothing when I play the computer. I do it. I'm not saying I don't do it, but not like some of these motherfuckers be doing. Hudson with 24 of them bitches, Javion Terrell, UCLA, and then the young trench bully, block bully's younger brother, 23 of them bitches. Hold up, Ben Ekiyor for Florida with 22, and then you come down to 19 and 18, 18, 18. Westerman for Arizona, Eric Mahoney for Colorado, Montrez Walker for Colorado, and NOBB 19 for Colorado. Let's keep going. Big 10. Let's do it. 38 for Tongues. Ingram, the corner, got 24 tackle for losses. That's scheme coming off the edge. Jenkins, Russell Jennings, D tackle for UCLA. And you're looking at Cameron Fountain, outside linebacker senior with 20 of them bitches. Bickerstaff, Oregon. George Esponda, middle linebacker for USC, 19 of them bitches. And then Brady Pretzlaff. I was going to call him Pretzel. Channing Bethel, 18 of them bitches. Another Oregon kid. Isaiah Patterson, UCLA. Dylan Williams, Oregon. Aaron Flowers, Oregon. Colin Campbell, and then Sean Ward, 15. I'm not going under 15. Garrison Butler, James Biggs. I did go under 15. I'm sorry. All right, let's get to the SEC and see what they're doing over there. Tackle for losses. Look, man, Colin Simons got 56 of them bitches. Emmanuel got 43 of them bitches. And Zena got 30 of them bitches. Then there's Jason Helton, the middle linebacker for Tennessee with 29. Nick Long for Alabama with 27. Taj Liggins for Tennessee with 25. Alejandro Nunes for Arkansas with 22. Horner for Georgia with 20. Ty Anthony Smith, real life player, Texas with 20. And then Bolo Ajaya for Alabama with 20. He going crazy. Simon Bolware, Vernon Welsh, Humphreys. It's all Alabama motherfuckers. James Bellamore, Sidney Lincoln. All right, and we're going to stop right there. I'll stay here and we're going to go to sacks right now. Erica, you want this? All right. Colin Simmons has 34 and a half sacks on the year right now. All right. Behind him, the other defensive end has 19. Then it's Taj Liggins with 17. And then Manuel, the middle linebacker, got 15. And then Clyde Kozar from Mississippi State with 14, along with Jacob Smith and Ty Anthony Smith. Let's go back up to the Big Ten. All right, 19 and a half from Tongues, Titus Couch, Devon Baxter, Pretzel Laugh, Bickerstaff, Malachi Williams with 11 when he's doing double-digit guys. Let's go up to the Big 12. Our double-digit sack guys, Merritt with 18, Atkins, Colorado, 17 and a half, Mitch Wells from Baylor with 17, Javon Terrell from UCF with 16 and a half, Alexander McPherson with 15 and a half, young Chijoko Nwankwo with 14 and a half, 13 and a half for Ben Ekiyor. And then you're looking at Jace Gilbert and Buck James with 11, along with Stacey Bay for Arizona has the five-star middle. Well, he used to be a middle. He back to middle linebacker, five-star linebacker. Buck James with 11, and Bay has 11 as well. And then you go to Florida again with AJ Moeller with 10 and a half, and then Utah with Price Sherrod. He probably fucking around be 6'1", 170 and shit playing DN. You gotta watch Hillburgers. 10 and a half, Ricky Williams, 10 and a half, and then Kristen Hudson, 10. Who winning that game?
Kansas City.
Beating the shit out of, oh no, they ain't beating them. It's 21-16?
21-16.
Oh, they going at it. All right, ACC, 16 and a half for Emil. Johns was 16. Then you're looking at Stanford, 14 and a half. King Joseph Edwards, 13 and a half. Eric Daniels, 13. Then you're looking at Maurice Davis for Louisville with 11. Dylan Stephen, whoever. That's why I said somebody should have got Stanford. 10 and a half right there, and then we're done. Sacks. INTs. Earl Luck for Florida with 8. Devontae Ahmed, Louisville, 7. Brahim Long Jr. with 6. And we only going to 5. Amerson for Notre Dame with 6. Cam Duvernay for Pitt with 6. And then you got Sergio Wimbush with 5, along with Luke Farrelly. Kruger for Syracuse. Belly for NC State. Donahue for Miami. Sam Neely, don't care about him. Chad Riggs, don't care about him. Let's go back down to Big 12. AI with 10 of them bitches. Barney with 9. Ron Israel with 9. Then you got Darren Alexander, don't care about him. Dale Messer with 8 for Arizona. Also Emilio Street with 8 for Arizona. And Jalen Ty for Kansas with 8. Boyce, West Virginia. Vega, Beller. Tamati Jun for Arizona with 7 of them bitches. Willie Goodwin, 5. Kristen Peterson, Nick Rude. My bad. Don't forget about Bo with 5 with Nick Rude. Hillburgers with Landry LaForce, Antonio Millerton, Devondre McGee, Zamil Westerman, Arizona, and then Chase Johnson is 5. Let's go back down to the Big 10. Tim Merritt, 8. Oregon. Burkovicki with 8. Dennis Charlton with 8. Oregon. Lamont Winston, UCLA, 8. And you got Cade DeJong, 7. Ohio State. 6 for Nicholas Rodriguez. We don't care about that. Tyler Bertrain, 6. Peyton Woodard, 6 for Oregon. Utah's Bertrain, my bad. And then you got Rutgers, Isaiah Crumpler with 6. Don't care about him. Don't care about Camden Poole. UCLA, Lewis with 6. 5, I'm sorry. Don't care about him. Don't care about him. Antonio White Jr., Rutgers, 5. And don't care about him. Dylan Williams, 5. Oregon. Marcellus Williams, 5. UCLA. Brian Letras with 5. Oregon. Clarence Cox, 5. Oregon. Akeem Jackson. All right, that's 5. We're done at that. Let's go to the SEC and see the INTs right now. 12. Zabion Brown, NIL player, last real life guy. Dominic Feeney, freshman, was 11 of them, but that's why he's on that list. Earl Wilbur, 9, Alabama. Then you got Ornberger, Johnny Ornberger with 9 for Arkansas. Brian Stuber with 8 for Tennessee. Jabari Agadusa with 7, Tennessee. Elijah Robinson, the 4th, 7 for Georgia. Truman Arnold, 7 for Arkansas. Makai Chupola, 7 for Alabama. Taylor Chosen for Georgia with 6. Emmanuel Bullitt, Oklahoma with 6. Rashad Everett, 5 for Kentucky. I don't care about that. Red Morgan, 5 for Alabama. Cam Dooley, 5 for Kentucky. Akari Johnson, 5 for Arkansas. Gates for Kentucky. Rashad Lott, 5 for Georgia. I don't care about him. Jordan Johnson Rubel, real life player. He only got 4. And that's your stats on the season right now. Let's talk about real fast before we get out of here, the rival games, right? Just real quick, the rival games. Could I stay here and do it? I could probably stay here and do it. All right, so Ohio State, Michigan is a big-time rival game. Tennessee, Vanderbilt, that's an L. Kentucky, Louisville, rival game. That's a good user game right there. NC State, CPU, North Carolina is a good rival game. Got to win that. Okay, about Boise State. Arkansas, Missouri, got to win that. Syracuse, Pitt, rival, but got to win that. Rutgers, Purdue don't really matter. Miami, Duke don't matter. Don't matter. Colorado, Baylor, that's an important game, but it ain't a rival game. Oklahoma, Ole Miss, not a rival game. TCU, nope. Da, 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 da. Alabama, Texas, this the game. I can't wait for this game to be played. That and Florida State, Florida. They're the 2 games I'm really waiting on. If South Carolina and Clemson, I'm not. Wait, Hoodie lost to Clemson last year. That's a big game for Hoodie right now. Oh, yeah, and Arizona State, they big games. I can't wait for these games to be played. That's our show. We'll be back on during Conference Championship Week. With that being said, I'm Man Hits. We out of here.